Hello guys, good morning. Today we're going to see 2 pages of English skills and 1 page of think tank, okay? So we're going to start with page 26 and then page 27. So, the perfect place, listening comprehension, warm up. What kind of location would you consider to be the perfect place? What kind of landscape would it be? What kind of activities would you do there? So what is the perfect spot, the perfect place for you to go on vacation? Okay, so you need to answer that for yourself. Okay, you don't need to write it or anything. It's just listening and speaking. Okay, then it says listen to the dialogue and then answer the questions using what you heard. As you know, we have to read first the questions, understand them, and then we're going to listen to the audio and we're going to respond them or to answer them. Okay, so number 1, it says, where is Amantani Island? So in the audio we're going to hear the answer where the Amantani Island is located. Okay, number 2, what is the altitude of the place where the speakers are? They are going to say a measurement, if we can say it like that. So what is the altitude of the place where the speakers are? Number 3, how much more vacation time do the speakers have? How many days, for example? Number 4, what is the name of Mr. and Mrs. Humala's son? The name of the son, okay? Of Mr. and Mrs. Humala's son. Number 5, what does the phrase to die for mean in the context of this dialogue? For example, if I am talking about a beautiful, super delicious chocolate cake, and I am like looking at it and I'm like super excited to eat it, and I would say, oh my god, that cake is to die for. Okay, so you're going to listen to that part, to that little sentence in the or phrase in the audio, and you need to explain what does that mean. Okay, number 6, which could be a picture of the view from the top of the hill. So they explain, they describe how the view looks. So you have 3 options. And then you have number 7, what line from the dialogue supports this choice? And on the number 7 you need to write what sentence did they say, so you got to choose one of these 3. Okay, you're going to write, for example, if you hear in the audio that they say, well, at the top of the mountain we saw many houses, for example, just an example, and it was beautiful. So how did you know, sorry guys, how did you know which picture was it? Well, because it said it was a place with too many houses. So you're going to write, it's just an example, this is not the correct answer. Okay, it's just an example. We saw, my goodness, we saw many houses, for example. So that's how I knew that this one was the answer. Okay, an example, that is not the answer, it's just an example. Okay, so now let's listen to the audio.
The perfect place. Listening comprehension.
This year's vacation has been really amazing. I'm so glad we chose to stay here on Lake Titicaca. It was such a good call to come to Amantani Island and stay with the host family.
Yep. It's great to be able to get away from the city for a little while. I think one of the best ways to get to know a culture is by staying with the local people.
I know. Miss Humala has been an amazing host. Her food is to die for.
We definitely can't find this back home. Even though we have a lot of the same ingredients, I've never had anything like this before.
It must be something to do with the land. You know, some of the local people believe that the gods told them that this was the perfect place.
I can believe it. When Mr. Humala took us on the walk to the top of the hill, we could see the dry desert mountains all around us. Not a town in sight.
It took us a little while to adjust to the altitude. We are 3,800 meters above sea level, but now that we have, I think we could stay a little longer. I mean, we have 2 weeks of vacation left. I think we can afford a few more days here.
I could definitely extend a little while longer. I think Mr. and Mrs. Humala wouldn't mind either. Their son, Diego, is coming into town from Cusco in 2 days. I think it would be really interesting to meet him.
Agreed. Let's tell them that we will stay for 3 more days. That way we can meet Diego, and maybe head back to Cusco with him on Saturday. Then we can still be on time to start our Inca Trail hike.
I'm excited to finally hike the trail, but I don't know how it could top this visit. This really does seem like the perfect place.
Okay, so that's it for the audio. Now let's go to page 27. Okay, so it says the perfect place. Speaking. What do you think is the perfect kind of place to take a vacation? So that question is for you to answer. Just think about it. What place for you? It's like the perfect to take a vacation. Okay, you can choose one of the locations below. Write the students that join each team in the boxes below to help you keep track of the teams. So obviously, as you know, we don't have students because right now we're not like in a classroom. But you can do it with your parents if you have your parents like really close to you, or your grandpa, your grandma, your brother, sister. They don't need to answer in English. They can answer in Spanish, and you just can translate it, for example. No? So you have a chart here where you have beach, mountains, big city, historical place. And you need to choose a place for you where you want to be. Okay? So I'm going to make an example. I love the mountains. So I am going to write my name here. Okay? But let's think that I just asked my mom to choose one for her. And let's say that she chose beach. Okay? So I'm going to put Dinora, which is my mom's name. And I'm going to put it here so you don't get confused. Ingrid's mom. Okay? Parentheses. And that's it. Okay? Then, once you have those, if you want to fill these two, you can do that also. Like, you can fill this one with, if you already have your mom, you can fill this one with your brother, or this one with your grandpa. Okay? It depends on you. If you don't have any more people than your mom or your dad, that's fine too. Okay? You just need your opinion and someone else's, and that's it. Now, debate team. Think of the pros and cons of each position in the debate. Draw from your personal experience with each side and be ready to tell what the pros and cons are from your own perspective. Personal experience is often more persuasive than something you've only read. Debate. Each team should present their position and defend it. Each group should find at least one person with some experience with each type of place. The group of members should state what they think the pros and cons are. Why is the place your group chose the perfect place to vacation? And why aren't the others? So, this is something that is just to help you understand what you're going to talk about in this chart here. Okay, so we have the self-assessment. It says write about your experiences. Write about your experience in the boxes below. We have the first question that it says, what was my most persuasive point? So first of all, I need to think of the place that I chose, which for me was the mountains, right? So which one, or what is my point, like my most persuasive point? Remember the word persuasive? It's when you make someone to change their mind. Like, for example, if somebody doesn't like I don't know, strawberries, and they're like, ew, strawberries, I don't like them, but you're like, oh my goodness, have you tried them in a milkshake, ice cream, jelly maybe? And they're like, no, I have just tried them by like regular, just the fruit. And you're like, no, you should try them in with ice cream or on a cake or something like that. And they're going to be like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm going to try them. So you are changing them, their opinion or their mind, if we want to say it like that. So what was my most persuasive point if we're talking about the mountains in my case? Okay, so let's say that my most persuasive point about the mountains is that they look cool, or let's say they look amazing. Oh my goodness, amazing when it's snowing, right? They look really good. Now, what were the other team's most persuasive points? In this case, we're going to talk as my mom. Let's pretend that my mom is here, and her opinion is going to be here. Like, what can she say that I can change my opinion? Instead of mountains, I want to go now to the beach. What can she say that I can change my mind? So maybe she says that I can swim whenever I want. Whenever I want, right? So I think that it's a really persuasive point, because who doesn't want to swim in the sea, in the ocean? Now, what would I do differently next time? What would I do differently next time? So I think if I am going to the mountains again, what would I do differently this time? So let's say that I would bring more food, right? Maybe, I don't know, it's my point of view. Then you have, do I think differently about this topic now? Did my mom convince me to go to the beach instead of the mountains? Do I think differently about the topic now? No, I don't. In my case, I don't. I really love the mountains more than the beach. Okay, but this is just my opinion. You have yours, okay, guys? So that's it for English skills, only page 26 and 27. And when you finish this, we're going to think tank. And then we're finished for today. Okay guys, now we're going to do page 171 on think tank. It says, what is a loan? Think about the following questions, then discuss them with the class or by yourself in this case. Have you ever borrowed money? Have you ever asked someone to give you money? Did you pay it back? Did you pay that money back? How long did it take you to pay that money? How did it feel to owe someone else money? How did you feel that someone gave you money? How did you feel that someone gave you money? Okay. Have you ever let someone borrow your money? Have you ever given money to someone? I don't know, maybe. And did they ever pay it back to you? So those questions are for you. It's just speaking. You don't need to write something. Nothing. You just need to answer by yourself, okay? Then it says, read the following text. A loan is money you borrow from a person or a bank. You then promise to pay the money back plus some extra money. This extra money is called interest. So we have the parts of a loan. The principal. Okay. It says that the principal is the amount of money borrowed. So if we're talking about, for example, the bank, and you want to get some money by the bank, you would go and ask them, okay, Santander, I need you to borrow some money from you, like 10,000 pesos. And they're like, okay, yes, that's fine. So then we go to the interest part. That is the second part of a loan. And it says that it's the amount of extra money charged for borrowing the money. So the bank would say, Santander would say, yes, I can give you 10,000 pesos, but I need to charge something. Okay? So the bank needs to charge like an interest. They need to charge some money so they can have like something extra. Okay? Then we have the term that it says the amount of time to pay back the loan. It can be short or long term. So here it comes a point where you need to talk to the bank and they need to give you like a period of time where you can pay. Okay, it could be, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years. It depends on you and the bank. Okay, then it says the interest is always given as a percentage of the loan. Suppose you borrow $50 with a 5% interest rate over a year. That means that you're going to borrow, let me change the color so you can see clear. You're going to borrow $50, but the bank is going to charge 5% of interest, and you have a year to pay back. Okay, 1 year to pay back. This means you are being charged 5% of $50 to borrow the money. To find out how much interest you will pay in dollars, not in percentage, you have to follow these steps. Okay, so step 1, change. That is the step 1. Change the interest percentage into a decimal. So if we go to this little chart, so we're going to divide 5 by 100 and we get 0.05. Then 0.05. On step 2 it says multiply the principal by this decimal. So now you're going to multiply 0.05 times $50. Obviously we get the answer here that it says 2.50, but I need to explain you how to do it. So we go to an empty page. Let me grab my pen with a purple color, obviously, and we're going to start. So we have 0.05 times, oh no, that's too small, teacher. 0.05 times 50. Okay, that is horrible. Let me try it again. My goodness. Okay, let me take another color. Before we continue with the answer or to make the problem, I need to tell you that you need to pay attention to the period. Okay, you need to place the numbers in the correct way and you need to place the period in the correct way. If you don't do this, you're going to get every time something or different or wrong. Okay, so that's why it's so important that you check the period. So now we're going to start. 0 times 5, 0. 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 0, 0. Then we go with the next one. Oopsie. 5 times 5, 25. So as you can see here we have an empty space. that space, we're not going to use it, okay? It's an empty space. Forget about it, okay? We're not going to use it. And then 5 times 0, well, 0. Okay? So now we are going to add these numbers. We take down the 0, 5 times 5 plus zeros, 5, 2 plus 0, 2, and then we don't need to put the last 0 because we don't need it, okay? That's fine. And then we have two options. We can just grab this period and place it here in the correct space, because if you can see, I have it exactly straight to the answer. Or you can count the numbers that are after the period. So we have the period here and we count 1, 2. So how many numbers? 2. So in case that you don't want to do this, you can just count 1, 2, and then you get the period. So the answer is 2.50. Okay, so let's go back to the book. So it says that step 3 is to multiply this amount by the term length. So we know now that the total is 2.50, and now we know that we have 1 year to pay back that money. So 2.50 times 1, 2.50, right? Then the last part, yay! When you pay back the loan, you must pay the $50 you borrowed plus an extra 2.50 for borrowing the money, which is the interest. Remember this one here, okay? The total is known as the repayment amount. What will be the repayment amount on our $50 loan? So it's super duper easy. You just need to add 50 plus 2.50, and this answer, you write it there. And that's it. Yes, we're finished for today. Woohoo! Okay guys, remember that any question that you can have, I am here in Messenger Kids. You can ask me anything, any doubts, any question, anything. I'm going to be there, okay? So bye bye guys, that's it. Don't forget that I love you so much and that I miss you with all my heart. Okay? See you.